Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Reganelite here with another episode of Snowflake Viewpoint, episode 46. It is Monday, the 18th of March. How's everyone doing? I hope you all had a good weekend. Hope you're all doing well this evening. Just a bit of a caveat, I just want to say, I'm a bit surprised there hasn't been any content today from Max. I don't know if he's on holiday or if something's up, but just wanted to say whatever he's going through, hope him and his family and friends are alright, and hopefully it's nothing serious for whatever reason why there's no content from him. So just wanted to put that out there. I'm sure I'm not the only one who hasn't noticed, but maybe one of you guys probably know that I don't know. But in all seriousness, I hope he's alright. So I just wanted to put that out there. What the hell's coming? Something's just happened to my phone. It's just playing up. Sorry about that. So obviously we've got quite a few stories to cover tonight. It's going to be wouldn't be surprised if we end up going 2 hours. I don't think we will, but we'll see how things go. Today's poll I've got up for the live chat today is will Rishi Sunak be forced out before the general election? 8% say yes, 20% say no. So 10 votes so far. So guys, make sure you cast your vote and have your say in the chat for that. So let's see who we got in the chat before we go straight into the first article. Rebecca is here. Good evening, Rebecca. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a good weekend. Stephen Banker is here as well. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Jow is here as well with the spanner. Thanks for moderating as always. Good to see you, buddy. Duke Vengeance is here as life. Please stop kicking me in the face. It's okay, Duke. It's okay. Don't worry. I hope you have a better day tomorrow. In all seriousness, buddy. Jeannie Bottle is here as well. Good evening, Jeannie Bottle. Hope you're doing well. Ruth is here as well. Good to see you, Ruth. Hope you're doing well. Ben Shaw is here as well. Good to see you, Ben. And Joe Lefty Boater is here as well. Good to see you, Joe. Hope you're doing well. 91 Leeds is here as well. Good to see you too. Hope you're all doing well. Good to see you all. Good to see you all. Davey Keane is just creeping in at the bottom there. Good to see you. I hope you're doing well. And Steve there, Steve McMahon as well. Good to see you guys both. Hope you're doing well. I was watching the Two Davey show earlier today. I just couldn't chat too much because I was doing stuff, guys. So I was there, and it was very good. A very good show. So definitely worth checking that out if you haven't seen the Two Davey show. It's going to be it's quite a lot to talk about. Unfortunately, I don't have the one about the one from the Times. I really would have loved to have talked about, but I'll just briefly mention it. If I do get an article on it, if I'm not, I'll produce one either for Wednesday or Thursday. But obviously, there was a story come out from the Times that literally crumbling buildings were falling on top of patients and staff. Was being reported in the last few weeks, on top of actual patients and staff in wards, which is, I don't know why this is only in the Times and not in any other paper. If you want a bit more analysis on it, Phil from Different Bias did a video on it. I really do recommend checking that out. Absolutely diabolical that this is not all over not all over the front pages. I think it's absolutely outrageous that our hospitals buildings are crumbling and literally falling off top of people, and there doesn't seem to be a national outcry about this whatsoever. So I just wanted to put that out there. I think it's just shocking. Phil made the point in his video that it's actually safer in a Ukrainian hospital than it is in our own ones. I mean, that just speaks volumes about how little no care that the Conservatives have for the well-being of its people. It really, really is, guys. As is this exclusive from The Guardian, there's the people who are part of this club here. The Garrick Club's men's-only members list reveals the roll call of British establishment. The exclusive reveals that details made public for the first time prompt anger over how many influential figures belong to the club that bars women. The Garrick Club members include recognisable and powerful men composed of Jonathan Brady, Zuma Wire, Rex, Subtlestock, Rhetorers, Guardian. Okay, it's just the description of the picture. But you just by seeing some of the faces on there. Why is the king on there? Why is the king on there? He's a member? Oh, is that how he feels about women too? Matt, good evening. Good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. This is wow. I really despise the fact that there's this Garrick men's only club members have so much power and influence, and no women are allowed in it. I mean, I know that there are clubs, obviously, there are like these clubs specifically for men and women out there, and there's nothing wrong with them in terms of having their own space sort of thing, but when it comes to influencing politicians, royals, which is what the Garrick Club is doing, yeah, we have a problem here. We have a big problem here. So the full membership list of the men's only Garrick Club reveals its central position as the bulwark of the British establishment, featuring scores of leading lawyers, head of publicly funded art institutions, the chief of MI6, the head of the civil servants, and King Charles. Talk about power. This is bonkers. They literally, that's literally insane. Members also include the Deputy Prime Minister, the Secretary of State for Levelling Up, the Chief Executive of the Royal Opera House, as well as Richard Morse, the head of the Secret Intelligence Service, and Simon Case, who as a Cabinet Secretary is the Prime Minister's most senior policy advisor, and the leader of nearly 500,000 civil servants. The root of all evil club, says 91 Leads. It is a root of all evil. Made public for the first time by The Guardian, the club closely guarded membership book lists a Supreme Court judge, 5 Court of Appeal judges, 8 High Court judges, about 150 KCs, dozens of members of the House of Lords and 10 MPs, plus heads of influential think tanks, law firms, private equality companies, academics, prominent actors, rock stars and senior journalists. They literally own Britain. They literally own Britain. They literally own Britain just by all that I've just read off. Akisman, good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. They literally own everything. Like, even judges here. Like, so you cannot take this club on because they literally have their finger in every single goddamn institution. Everything. Details of how many senior British establishment figures are members of a club that repeatedly blocked moves to admit women prompted anger from campaigners for increased diversity in the arts, business, politics and the law. Yeah, for a club that has so much influence, they should have women involved in it. I'm sorry. It's just, they got way too much power. This is far too dangerous here. This is so dangerous. You know, we talk about Russian influence. My God, these guys have got too much influence. Harriet Harman, the Labour MP who drafted the Equalities Act 2010, said politicians and senior civil servants should not be members of a club that prohibit women from becoming members. I wonder if they've got the actual list here in The Guardian. I'm curious to know if there's any Labour MPs or Labour members in it. It wouldn't surprise me, actually, to be fair. Equality for women is a recognised public policy objective, and all those in public life should be committed to that objective. These clubs pop up structure that restrict women's access to power, she said. Caroline Nooks, a Conservative MP and chair of the Women's and Equality Committee, said, "It's wrong in today's society to have places that are still so pivotal to the establishment that excludes 51% of the population. The club membership of about 1,500 is overwhelmingly white and predominantly elderly. Some refer to the institution as a retirement home that serves fine wine. The full list reveals a high number of people currently in influential roles, from white minister leaders to partners at Magic Circle law firms and head constituencies. The actors Brian Cox and Succession co-star Matthew Macfadyen are members of the club, which was founded in 1831 as a meeting place for actors and gentlemen and in name of honour of the 18th century actor David Garrick. So are Hailey Bullifield, Hugh Lorraine, Stephen Fry, Bernard Cumberland, David Sennett and Damian Lewis. The chair of the Royal Ballet School, Christopher Rodriguez, the artist director of Wigmore Hall, John Gullity, and the chair of the English National Opera, Harry Bridges, are also members, alongside Alex Beard, the chief executive of the Royal Opera House. Judge Kelly, a theatre director and founder of the Women's of the World Foundation, said she was so angry about the club's refusal to admit women that she had considered staging a sit-down protest outside the club's 1864 Greystone building in Covent Garden. Can do, but I don't think it's going to really make a difference, if I'm honest. This is very frustrating. Senior figures in the arts should resign their membership, she added. It beholds people who are leaders in the arts to not frequent it any longer. Don't understand why anybody would think it's still okay to join a men's only members clubs. She said, I don't have a problem with men's only clubs, but when it comes to them having so much power and influence, that's when it's an issue. Yeah, that's when it has an issue. Like, we're talking about, for me, like, there's enough, like, obviously, women have their own space, they have their own clubs and all that kind of stuff. But we're talking about a club here that has a huge amount of influence in Britain that excludes women here. That's a major problem. I mean, in my opinion, this club should not exist at all, just because of the power that they hold over Britain in any way, shape, or form. But even adding women, I still think this club is far too dangerous, far too influential in Britain, far too influential. It sends a very peculiar message if you head a major arts organisation, but if you are a member of a club that doesn't accept women. She said male colleagues in the arts have had past invites in the past invited her as a guest to have lunch at the club, but she no longer accepts such invitations. It's humiliating, she said. Why would you go if you're not even going to be in... Why would you accept invites knowing that you're not even a member of this men's only club? Why would you even go? That's the thing. The account brings together the troubled founder of Odyssey Asset Management, Crispian Ozzy, the football manager Roy Hodgson, Nigel Newton, the chief executive of the founder of the Harry Potter publisher Bloomsbury, the fashion designer Paul Smith, the Dire Straits vocalist and guitarist Mark Kovlier, the literary agent Peter Stratus, the hotel magnate Raquel Fultz. Oh, look at all these names that are coming up. The editor-in-chief of the Daily Mail. Well, surprise. And General Trust Paul Ducky, and the BBC World Affairs correspondent John Simpson. The chief conductor of the London Symphony Orchestra, who directed the orchestra at the King's coronation, Antonio Papago, is a member, and is the gynecologist who delivered Prince George and Marcus Sidwell. Most of the serving politicians who are members are Conservative, including the Deputy Prime Minister Oliver Dowden, the Levelling Up Secretary Michael Gove, his Levelling Up Department colleague Simon Hoard, the former Minister of State for Brexit Opportunities, Jacob Rees-Mogg. How could you not have Jacob Rees-Mogg in this club? Come on, guys. Are we surprised that Jacob Rees-Mogg is not part of this club? We knew that. The former Justice Secretary Robert Buckland, now chair of the Northern Ireland Select Committee, and Daniel Hannan, a member of the House of Lords and advisor to the Board of Trade. Kwasi Kwarteng was elected a member in 2022, days before he was appointed Chancellor. You added Kwasi Kwarteng to that. Some politicians and judges no longer list their membership on the publicly available Who's Who's website. I wonder why. Also members are Robert Chalk, the head of UK Statistic Authority, who was chair of the Office for Budget Responsibility from 2010 till 2020. David Willetts, the president of the Resolution Foundation think tank, which focuses on the issues of inequality, and Dean Goodston, the director of the right-wing think tank Policy Change, along with the former Post Office chair Tim Parker and the chair of the Independent Press Standards Organisation Edward Fowles. Too much power! This is just too much! Some of these members may have voted in favour of admitting women the last time the club had a formal poll on the issue in 2015, when 50.5% supported a rule change to allow female members. The motion failed because two-thirds majority was required. So more than 50%, just over 50% actually wanted women, but because it wasn't a two-third majority, they said no. Wow. Another vote on the subject is expected in June. It's just so nonsense. A few members have been attempting unsuccessfully to get the rules changed since the 1980s, but the existence of an ineffectual internal movement for reform does not impress the club's critics. Harman said, "It's not good enough to say that you are hoping women will be able to join in the future. If you can't admit women, then you shouldn't be a member." Yeah, I think that's it. Couldn't agree more, really. Yeah, couldn't agree more on that statement. One angry pagan, good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Lord, no ladies, bishops and ambassadors. Interpreting the membership list requires a close familiarity with the alphabet soup that acts as a shorthand for the honours and titles awarded to people considered to be the most eminent members of British society. The list is dotted with FRFLs, FSAs, KCVOs and GMMCs. At least 19 members have been awarded CBEs, Commander of the Order of the British Empire. Don't like that word, British Empire, for some reason. I think you can guess why. and 96 have been given OBEs, Offer of the Order of the British Empire. Do I have to keep saying that word? Please don't ask me to say that word. 9 have KCMGs, that's Knights of the Commander of the Order of St. Michael and St. George, after their names for service variously as ambassadors to Moscow, Rome and Washington, or for roles on top of NATO, the UN, the Foreign Office and the European Commission. I don't like this club. It makes you feel like you should be a part of it. And I hate it. I hate a club that has so much power and influence and has all these members. I don't like it. I really don't. The list, which dates from late 2023, includes 3 bishops, 2 retired and 1 serving, and 14 reverends. About 150 that include the title Sir by their names, and 40 listing themselves as Lord. 2 lines in their membership list are needed to fill all the honours received by Christopher Guy, the RT Hon for Lord, GCB, GCVO, OBE, QSOPC, a former private secretary to Queen Elizabeth II, and later an independent advisor on ministers' interests to the then Prime Minister Boris Johnson. Mary Ann Sunner, the author of The Authority Gap, Why Women Are Still Taken Less Seriously Than Men, says, "It's not trivial because it's actually damaging women in their careers if they can't associate with more powerful people in their industry. It's often the informal meetings that lead to job offers and promotion. Anyone who believes in fairness and equality should feel extremely uncomfortable about being a member of a club that excludes half the population." They should do, but it seems like because of how much influence and how many people like they have in it, it seems like it doesn't have little to no effect on them. Like, is this exclusive from the Guardian really going to be a catalyst of change for the club? I honestly don't think it will. The civil servants frequently restates its commitment on improving equality and diversity within its workforce, while MI6 is on a drive to shake off the perception that its staff is exclusively by white male Oxbridge graduates. Then change the policy then! If you're so serious, change the damn policy. If there's improving equality, well, how about start by accepting women if you want to improve equality then? Spokesperson for Case Moore and Darlan declined to comment. The Garrick was contacted for comment, as were all members mentioned here. Most declined to comment. Well, what do you expect? The BBC Simpsons, a member since 2001, said, I'm profoundly and passionately in favour of opening the Garrick membership to women because I feel continued to bar in their joining is an embarrassing blight on an otherwise delightful institution. Cloves, Willits and Fallex said they support women becoming members. Fry has said he previously feels ashamed and mortified by the continuing exclusion of women from our club. Bonneville and Lewis are understood to have been voting in favour of women in 2015. And most actors are thought to be in favour of a rule change. Cox, a member since 1996, said it was about time women are admitted. Oh, what? Now it's about time in 2024? You're saying that now? This architect picture is ridiculous in the 21st century, he said. The former Justice Secretary Buckland, who is understood to be in favour of admitting women as is go, said the club was a place to go to socialise, to relax and talk about nice things, but it was not a place where work was conducted. Ah, right, okay, sure. Foles said he had voted against women members because the Garrick was built as a gentleman's club. Well, maybe if you didn't have so much goddamn influence in Britain, maybe I would have a different opinions on that, but it's not just the thing for me, guys. It's not just the fact that women are not included in this club. All right, that's not just that's just one thing that really infuriates me. What infuriates me is how much influence they have. Yeah, and obviously they're saying there, well, we don't conduct politics. Well, we don't know that. We don't know what they say behind closed doors. For me, it feels like they have far too much influence in Britain. That just it comes. I think of the Illuminati and sort of thing. Yeah, when I think of this club that they are all a part of, it, all the people that they have. And I generally believe that even with women in, I still think it's a very dangerous club. If in anything, I don't think a club like this should exist at all in any way, shape or form. I think it's dangerous. I think it's dangerous and irresponsible to allow so many members of such influence. I feel like they can control Britain with the powers of people that they have in there. I really do. Like, people would dismiss it and say, oh, it's just a gentleman's club. They just, they hang out and all that. Really? Really? Are you really going to tell me that there's no business conducted whatsoever in their premises? You're really going to tell me that? Like that's just as much as a an issue for me as is the club itself there. Just before I come to you guys in the chat, thank you everyone who's cast their votes so far on the poll in the live chat asking, will Rishi Sunak be forced out before the general election? For those who voted so far, 73% of you say yes, 27% of you think no. So make sure you cast your vote and have your say. Women are great at reading emotional reactions, says Jal. Too busy watching the dishes, perhaps, says Ruth. Get out. Should not be making such a get out, you. Terrible comment. I usually listen to women's advice on behaviour of people. They are almost always right. It's the fact that I've got JRM that claims that when Britain colonised India is the best way to look at them. Then we look at the railway, says David Keane. Why don't women create their own equivalents? They could create their own equivalents, but would they have the same power and influence as this gentleman's club? I don't think so. I think it wouldn't surprise me if there was a club out there for women, but it wouldn't. I wouldn't have the same influence in any way, shape, or form. That's the thing. It's the only way they can play old boarding school games in secret. Plenty of little sword fights and soggy biscuits happening in there, methinks, says Ben Shaw. Well, look what happened when they picked the MI6 guy from Cambridge. Remember what happens there, lol. Are we discussing the Sausage Fed Club, says Aki's mad. No, I'm afraid not. We're not discussing the Sausage Fed Club. I'm so sorry, Aki's mad. No decent women would go near this lot. I wouldn't blame anybody for not going near this lot, to be fair. But at the same time, you know, considering how much influence that these lot have, I wouldn't surprise me if they wouldn't go to it as well. Trying to relax with a nice cooling game of Warhammer, it's not working, says Duke. Listening to this and playing Warhammer is not a very good combination, if I'm honest, Duke, but you can give it a keep trying it. Bashing the bishops as well, geez, though. This isn't a club, it's a cabal. Yes, says Stephen. Yeah, it does feel like that. Those schools exist to create a ruling class. Starmer shouldn't tax them. He should shut them. As in, shut them down. Well, we didn't read in there. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I'll see if I can find the list. But correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. But I didn't see any Labour members mentioned on that. And that doesn't mean to say there isn't anyone in Labour on that list. But I didn't see any, guys. It wouldn't surprise me if Tony Blair was on it, to be fair. What's David Keane said right on? Yeah, all these rich guys all talk about what it is to make British values even more British values low. And we know way to think too. Yeah, absolutely, Davey. Absolutely. Those guys have been bumming each other since they were at school together. All starts at these schools, says Steve McMorran. Absolutely, definitely out of date. Definitely not just women, but poor, but no poor either, says David. Yeah, not even the low middle incomes have any place in here. Excludes 99.9% of the UK, says Jeannie Bottle. Absolutely, Jeannie. Hope you're doing well. Club secret meetings are. Those are good for children and summer days, not for adults and citizens of a nation. Yeah, indeed. Yeah. Hello, Pedulus. Good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Thanks, guys, for your comments, as always. Next one we've got is actually one that I wanted to cover that I dropped yesterday, and I wanted to talk about it. Not so much on the conference itself, but more on what he had to say. This one from Sky News, guys. Ed Davey calls on Starmer and Sunak to make a cast iron commitment to cross-party talks on social care crisis. He wants Starmer and Sunak to work together. Oh, he's funny, isn't he, Ed? So Ed Davey puts social care in the heart of his speech at his party spring conference and calls on Rishi Sunak to call a general election now. Well, of course we want a general election now. That's good. That's a good thing. We all want that. But for him to actually say we want a cast iron commitment to cross-party talks on social care crisis, Sunak is not going to have that talk. He doesn't care. He's not interested in any way, shape, or form. Now, is Ed Davey willing to talk with Starmer on some kind of on social care crisis? Working in corporation, why not? But I don't see why they wouldn't work that way if Labour do come into power at the next general election, whenever that will be called. But calling on Sunak to do something is folly, because they're not doing anything. They're just sitting on their laurels at this point. But let's hear what else Ed Davey had to say on it. So the Liberal Democrat leader said Davey's called on Rishi Sunak and Keir Starmer to include a cast-iron commitment to cross-party talks on social care in their election manifesto. Oh, he's funny, isn't he? In a speech at the party spring conference in York, he said that the Prime Minister and the Labour leader should bring their ideas to the table as the crisis needs a long-term solution lasting beyond one term in Parliament. There's absolutely no question that social care is in crisis, without a shadow of a doubt, among many other things. But you're asking a Conservative government who helped cause the damage, to fix the problems that they caused, and I don't see them doing that. And I think it's folly to call on that. If Labour do come into power and become the government, I think there's no reason why the Liberal Democrats would want to try and support whatever way they can fix social care or try to get social care in a better place than it is now. I don't see any reason why there would not be cooperation in that. But don't ask the Conservatives to, because they haven't done anything for. They haven't done anything for social care in the last several, especially the last 6-7 years. It's just been just sitting there now. So Ed said, like so many challenges, fixing social care will take a different kind of politics, because he needs a long-term agreement, one that will stand the test of time and last beyond one parliament and one party's turn in government. That's why we're calling on all parties to include in their manifesto a cast-iron commitment to finally hold cross-party talks on social care. Here's the thing, I am joking about the fact that, he's calling on all parties to come together to work on this. I seriously would love that. I would love, all parties to work together, on something, on a crisis like social care, on our NHS, on a lot of things. I would generally want that, but we know that's not how these some of these politicians, and especially some of these political parties, think in any way, shape or form. They're only caring about their own thing, and that's themselves. A lot of them. They're not thinking about how. They're not generally thinking. All these parties generally thinking about. Are they thinking about the country first, or are they thinking about party politics first? That's how I see it. I don't see it as I don't see it as enough to me to think that, even if they got round the table, there's no way they would agree on anything anyway. But I can't see this idea. I mean, it's for me, it's a feeble dream because of the kind of people that are inside, that are running the Conservative Party right now. It's a feeble dream, is what it is. But I'm pretty sure everyone will agree with me that social care is in a crisis, and it does need it. It does need sorting, as does many other things. So Ed, who is a carer for his disabled teenager son, said finding a solution to care has been kicked down the road for far too long, with people facing catastrophic costs and forced to sell their own homes just because of their loved ones need care. In a direct message to his political rivals, he said, Rishi Sunak, Keir Starmer, come back to the table, bring your ideas, let's finally sort this out. In the 2019 Conservative manifesto, the then Prime Minister Boris Johnson said nobody needed care should be forced to sell their home to pay for it. He later announced plans to cap the cost of social care, but they were delayed by the Chancellor Jeremy Hunt in the November 2022 budget. Both the Conservatives and Labour have been largely quiet on the matter, with the looming general election dominated by issues like the economy, NHS and immigration. So Ed used much of his speech to goat the Prime Minister onto calling a general election, now saying that the date of the next vote is the only thing left that Rishi Sunak controls anymore. He certainly doesn't control his party, certainly not his cabinet, certainly not the healthcare crisis or the economy. In fact, the Prime Minister sounds like he's given up. Well, we know that. They're not doing anything. The only thing they're waiting for is the Rwanda bill now. That's all they care about at this point. He argued his party was the only one to offer transformational change while the Tories and Labour were just tinkering around the edges. Well, there is an alternative to the Yellows, and that is the Green Party. And I would rather you cast your vote to the Green Party if you don't fancy voting Conservative or Labour, if I'm absolutely honest. I don't see them offering transformational change. I would say vote Lib Dems if you can tactically vote out the Conservatives in your constituency, is the advice I have for you. As well as talking about social care, so Ed used his speech to discuss issues the party's been heavily campaigning on, like the NHS, sewage in the rivers, and the need for electoral reform. These are policies, I mean, I like a lot of their things. What they're saying are similar to what Labour is saying, and some of these things. And I don't think anyone here is going to argue that, whether you're Labour, SNP, or whatever point, they want to do stuff about fix the NHS and, you know, clear the sewage in our rivers and that, and electoral reform. They have Sir Ed Davey made it very clear they want proportional representation in his speech, which I really liked as well. And I'm all for that, and I'm sure hopefully you guys are in the chat. So that is a positive step for Lib Dems, and he was talking a lot about you know, eventually going down to rejoining the EU as well. He did say rejoining the long term as well. So he's definitely saying some of the right things on these things. So I will give credit where credit is due for saying these things, but they're not really going to make much of a dent, if I'm honest. They're not the ones really people are looking at. People are looking at reform. People are looking at Conservatism. And people are looking at Labour, really. And it's really more the tactical voting is where it's going to count for Lib Dems. I mean, they do have an opportunity, the Lib Dems. They have an opportunity to become the opposition, the main opposition to Labour. It's entirely possible, but it really depends on how people vote at the general election whenever it's called. The party leader also touched on what he would do about Brexit, an issue that has been reluctant to be drawn on in the past. He said he wants to set the UK on the path back to the single market. Makes perfect sense. Our plan to repair the damage the Conservatives have done, and in time to restore Britain's place at the heart of Europe where we belong, he said. Well, the only way you'll be back in the heart of Europe is if you rejoin the European Union. Single market's not going to be enough for saying that. Just going to put that out there. Lib Dems are hoping to make gains in traditional Conservative strongholds at the election, particularly seeking to win over voters in the south and southwest of England, the so-called Blue Wall. The party has struggled at general elections since its coalition with the Conservatives in 2010, winning only 11 seats at the last election in 2019. But it has since gained formally Tory constituencies across southern England in a series of by-elections, including Cheltenham and Aylsham in Buckinghamshire, Frome in Somerset, and Tiverton and Hoverton in Devon and North Shropshire. Said's speech comes as the Prime Minister faced reports that some Conservative MPs are plotting to replace him before the election, and criticisms over his handling of the emergence of the alleged racist remarks about Labour's Diane Abbott and the major Tory donor Frank Hessler. But earlier, Cabinet Minister Mark Harper dismissed the rumour of a mutiny, telling Sky News the Prime Minister will lead the country into the next election and the decision will pay off. And as you guys know, I've done a video talking about that, so if you haven't already seen it, do check out that video. The election must be held by January 2025 at the latest, but Mr Sunak has said his working assumption is that it will happen in the second half of the year. No specific month, it just says second half of the year. So it could be June, July, August, September, October, November, maybe even Christmas time. Who knows? But what do I think of Ed Davey? I think, you know, he said some positive things, but there is ground to be made for the Lib Dems. They've really needed. It's taken a long time for them to kind of like wake the F up, in my opinion, from this whole. You know, they were very quiet about Brexit when it all came down, and they should have stuck to their guns and kept saying this is wrong. They could have stayed and been the EU party, and I think they would have a lot more influence and a lot more voters and a lot more support if they had just stuck to their guns of who they were, instead of going along towing the line about Brexit after it all. I generally do think they would have had a lot more people, a lot more supporters, a lot more backers if they had done that, if I'm honest. For those just known, let me just see. 67% said yes, 33% says no, and Rishi Sunak will be forced out before the next general election. Just quickly see what you guys are saying in the chat. Wastemongers need a social contract with its people, just like Scottish Government has. My little brother has been given a free placement in a private school. Don't know how to feel about it. I'm kind of unimpressed, though, says one angry pagan. Well, hopefully it'll go well for your brother, in all seriousness, one angry pagan. Cross fingers. They're not all bad. My sister won a scholarship for one in Scotland, and I think it was pretty normal. My aunt and uncle both taught in it, says Ruth. I heard private education pupils leaving, going to public schools cost the taxpayer 1.6 billion. Starver, if taxes private schools would only get 1.3 billion. Why do politicians in the UK insist in perpetrating the lies of the cherry picking in the EU? Because they know the path is to accept the conditions or to even candidate the UK to rejoin. I wouldn't say rejoin, it'd be join the EU at this point. Keep saying rejoin. It's not going to be rejoin, because we will have to go through a long process to do it. If Westminster could see past the hatred of the SNPs for 5 minutes, they would learn a lot from the Scottish Government that would benefit their own people, says Aki's man. Yeah, they would. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. They couldn't agree more. It's totally effed up, says Davey Keane. Yeah, it is messed up. It is. What's all this laughing about here? What did you... what phone box did the Lib Dems have their conference in? Phone box. It was a yellow phone box. It was a yellow phone box, Steve. It was a yellow one, if that helps. Did they have enough people to fill the phone box? They did have enough people. It was actually, to be fair, like it was quite a big hall. I'll play this for you actually. This is from the conference here.
Now, some people have criticised me for going on and on about carers, even saying that it's only because I've been a carer most of my life, for my mum, for my nana, for my son. But let us tell them this. It's because of real life experiences like mine and the real life experiences of millions of people that Liberal Democrats will always be the political voice of our country's carers.
Notice one thing, by the way. He's not standing behind a podium. He doesn't have like papers in front of him for his speech. He's standing out there, and he's not speaking from a teleprompter. He literally looks to me that he's literally speaking from mine. Now there could be teleprompters out there for him, but it doesn't look that way to me. It looks like he's generally speaking from the heart there. Maybe that's just me reading too much into it.
Only we truly understand if you care about the NHS, you have to care about care. But like so many big challenges, fixing social care will take a different kind of politics, because it needs a long-term agreement, one that will stand the test of time and last beyond one parliament and one party's turn in government. That's why we are calling on all parties to include in their manifestos a cast-iron commitment to finally hold cross-party talks on social care. To finally forge the agreement that's been kicked down the road for far too long, so that everyone can get the care they need, when they need it, and where they need it, in their own homes if possible. So that no one is hit with catastrophic costs or forced to sell their home just because they or their loved ones need care. And so that all carers are properly recognised and supported. Rishi Sunak, Keir Starmer, come to the table, bring your ideas, let's finally sort this out.
No, that's not going to happen. Let's be realistic, that's not going to happen. I'm sorry, Ed. I applaud the idea, I really, really do, but I just can't see it happening. Like, I really do. Like, I understand his care, and I understand it's very personal to him, and I really, really do, but I just can't see it happening, guys. And it's a real shame. It's a real shame. But I just can't see it happening, guys. Just before I go to the next story, which I'm really looking forward to grinding my teeth into, Alistair Keir with 5 gifted membership. Thank you so much for those memberships, Alistair. I really appreciate it. You've been an absolute diamond for me. You're gifting 5 memberships to Matt, Jim Stevens, Mark Teflar, and Dank Vader. Oh, thank God. Oh God, is he? We got a Jedi who's now a member of the Snowflake Corporals now. A Jedi is now amongst us. Airbus is here as well. Good to see you, Airbus. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for that, Alistair. Really appreciate it. Yeah, guys, it's YouTube membership is just only 99p, guys. 99p really does help make a big difference when it comes to memberships. And Ollie, where is the lava lamp? What have you done with the lava lamp? What's that? Oh, that's right. I broke the lava lamp, guys. No, I haven't broke the lava lamp. Actually, what's happened is that I've broken the light bulb in the lava lamp, so I need to replace it. So that's why it's not up there, guys. So, so I'm really sorry the lava lamp is not there in all its glory, but the orb is there, and so Ollie's a bit better because there's Alistair Keir was very nice today, so we'll check up on him in a bit, guys. So I do apologise. So I think once I replace the light bulb in the lava lamp, it should fix. But hopefully, if not, then it looks like I'll have to get a new one. Anyway, let's move on, guys. Let's move on. So this next one here is also from. Don't worry, he's smiling. He's smiling. He's smiling. Don't worry, Stephen. Stephen, he's smiling. Don't worry. I'll show you later. This next one is from Sky News. 5 episodes of GB's news programme presented by Tory MPs are found to have broken Ofcom rules. Nah, you don't say! The channel has been warned it could face a fine or have its licence suspended if it breaks the same rules again. The watchdog said its politicians to host news shows risk undermining the integrity and credibility of regulated broadcast news. Just take their suspend licence away already. Take it away from them already, for crying out loud. They are poisoning people's minds. Come on. Only 5 episodes. Are you kidding me? I'm sorry, this is so much nonsense here. This is so much nonsense. The Watchdog's probe examined 2 shows presented by former House of Commons leader Sir Jacob Rees-Mogg and 3 jointly hosted by the Pension Secretary Esker McVey and her husband, backbencher Philip Davis. Ofcom said that under the broadcasting codes, the news must be presented with due impartiality and a politician cannot be a news reader, news interviewer or news report unless exceptionally there is an editorial justification. There is none! Just pull the licence from them already, for crying out loud. It found there was no exceptional justification in the 5 cases they investigated and the news was therefore not presented with due impartiality. Thank God we actually have thank God we actually have them. Like, if it was up to the Conservatives, they would scrap this. They really would. If they really would, they could scrap this. But GB News has now been put on notice that it will face a statutory sanction if it breaches the rules again, which could involve a financial penalty or having its licence suspended or revoked. Financial penalty is not going to do anything. Suspending the licence would be the right thing to do. The Watchdog said we found 2 episodes of Jacob Rees-Mogg's State of the Nation, 2 episodes of Friday Morning with Esther and Phil, and 1 episode of Sunday Morning with Esther and Phil broadcast during May and June 2023 failed to comply with rules 5.1 and 5.3 of the Broadcasting Code. It added politicians have inherently a partial role in society and news content presented by them is likely to be viewed by audiences in light of those perceived biases. In our view, the use of politicians to present news risks undermining the integrity and credibility of a regulated broadcast news. Mrs. McVey has resigned from her role in GB News in November after she was handed a ministerial position in Prime Minister Rishi Sunak's cabinet. Isn't she the Minister for Common Sense? I'm sure she's the one for common sense, guys. Remind me. 2 months earlier, an Ofcom investigation found she and her husband broke impartiality rules in an interview with Chancellor Jeremy Hunt because it failed to give due weight to an appropriately wide range of significant views. Yeah, 2 Tory MPs and 1 Tory Chancellor. What's possibly could go wrong there? While GB News was found to have breached broadcasting rules before, Ofcom noted that this was the first breach of Section 5.1 and 5.3 of the Code. It said that since opening the investigations of 5 shows, there has only been 1 further programme which has raised issues warranting investigation under those rules. Ofcom added, we are clear, however, that GB News is put on notice and that repeated breaches of Rules 5.1 and 5.3 may result in the impersonation of the statutory sanction. So they're basically saying, you've been warned, we're telling you off, that's all we're going to do, we're just going to tell you off and say, don't break the rules. That's all they're going to do, guys. They're just saying, don't break the rules. That's all they're doing, guys. That's it. Nothing more than that. Will Rishi Sunak be forced out before the general election, guys? Make sure you cast your vote. 20 votes so far. 70% of you say yes. 30% of you say no. It is in the live chat. Make sure you have your say. It was left in a comment I made in one of the posts weeks ago. Genie Bottle saying, someone said to me that GB News was the voice of the common man. Common man? To be fair, I had To be fair, I had a comment today who basically, I think he was trying to wind me up because I didn't say, I didn't pronounce the, was it Houdinis or Houdini Rebels properly in Short's video, and I think he was just trying to wind me up, you know, because he was asking what are the Houdini Rebels, and I basically did a paragraph of what the wiki was basically saying. No, why is that man saying Houdini Rebels? I'm like, that's just like some people, you just can't please some people, you know. It just shows Ofcom can let them right-wing nut jobs on TV would not allow an independent Scottish channel. No, it would not. You would actually have some fair media bias. And actually, we'll be talking on tomorrow's World News Round in the evening, guys. There's going to be I've got an interesting article coming from Slovakia with regards to broadcasting. Will be interesting. Yeah, I can't say to pronounce it properly, Ruth. Yeah, I know. I got criticised for it apparently. Well, that's basically what it was. What if there's no consequences? What is Ofcom for? Exactly, Casper. Good to see you, by the way. Hope you're doing well. Yeah. That's the thing. They're just like, we're telling you off, but we're not going to do anything, but we might slap you with a fine or something like that. But I did not say Hooters, Simon Says 55. I did not say that in the short video. I said Houdinis. Did not say that. But you got me to say it anyway, so try UTs. I'll tell you what, I'll use Google Translate to make people feel better. I still have no idea what Ofcom is or what is their purpose since being there. It's the same. It's supposed to regulate media and hold it to account and make sure it's given fair news, pretty much. Simon Says 55. Good to see you there. Hope you're doing well. Ollie was on Games Night. He was absolutely rubbish, says Ben Shaw. Was he? I wouldn't know. I thought I was on Games Night. Ollie knocked it over. He did not knock over the lava lamp. Don't blame Ollie for that. Steve, who gives a who? Who gives a? Yes, well said. So yeah, I don't say. To be fair, like you know, I try to be nice to comments. To be fair, guys, but can't always win with some of them. Anyway, guys, let's take a little break, shall we? Break things up a little bit, guys. This fantastic. I really love this this funny video, guys. But what's that? Has anyone seen Cash Dummy? By the way, yes, I do know I knocked Ollie over. Cash Dummy is still. I'm still waiting for you to come and collect your son from the house. You still haven't collected him, so if anyone's seen him, let me know. But Ollie wanted me to let you know that there's been some broken news coming, guys.
Welcome to Broken News. The Conservative Party has published how much money it expects to receive in return for downplaying racism. The new tariffs come into force immediately, and our reporter has more.
It's been one of those long-standing problems. Just how much should it cost to have the racist thing you just said defended as not racist? Well, now Rishi Sunak's party has helpfully laid out a racism rate card. The bigot buyout includes the singing of Bar Bar Black Sheep for a £6 donation, any gangster rap track for 50 quid, or the full version of The Sun Has Got Its Hat On for £300. For £10 million, senior cabinet members will go on actual national television to claim that the thing you said about black people and about how one of them should be shot was absolutely fine. And despite some criticism, the Conservative Party has unveiled a new offer. For £20 million, they'll describe your calls for a full-on race war followed by some light ethnic cleansing as slightly distasteful but not reflective of your character. In a statement, the Conservative Party said, "Look, if Hitler had just considered donating 30 million Reichsmarks to Churchill, we could have just called him a naughty little fella with some outdated views, but otherwise his heart's in the right place and we should all just move on." Back to you.
What a lovely story. That's all from Broken News. You're up to date.
As much as I find it so funny, guys, it makes me also sad that it's come to that we are that the only thing we can do rather than be furious about it is just make jokes about it. And it's so infuriating, that story. It really, really is. And there's talk that they may have taken an extra 5 million as well, which is also more of that. Ollie's furious with me because I knocked him over, as you guys saw on the live stream. So he's not happy with me right now, understandably. But I will put him back in a moment, guys. So this next one, guys, it got is from I can make sure it's on the right one. Is it on the right one? Yeah, it is on the right one. It's an exclusive from iNews. This headline really just... Energy customers are set for a payout worth billions in scandal bigger than PPI. A landmark case over hidden fees in bills could open the floodgates to more businesses taking action against their energy provider. I mean, is this going to be coming out of the energy provider's pockets, or is this going to be coming out of taxpayer money pockets? Like, that's the thing that's coming to my mind. Like, I'm thinking, yay, like, energy companies are going to be paying back some money, but I'm like, I just don't want this coming out anywhere near to taxpayers. Like, I want this coming out of the private energy companies who have been making billions of pounds off our expenses here. That's what I'm kind of hoping here. Like, don't get me wrong, I want to make this clear. Like, I'm happy that energy customers could get some money back, and I'm happy about that in terms of what could be a massive scandal, but I just don't want taxpayer money touching any of this, is what I'm generally concerned about. So, energy firms could be forced to pay out billions to customers after a small business won a landmark legal case over its hidden fees in bills. It could now lead to hundreds of thousands of micro businesses, firms with a turnover of less than 1.8 billion, seeking compensation over energy deal broker fees concealed within their own bills. Quincy's casino slot, based in County Durham, has recouped £14,000 from French power giant EG after a judge ruled that the energy broker hid additional fees in the business's bills. The judge said there was deliberate concealment of the broker's fees and that it was Eagle's policy to not reveal the size or the nature of this commission. The legal and energy expert said the ruling at Leeds County Court could be the start of a scandal potentially bigger than misleading of PPI, the Personal Protection Insurance, from 1990 to 2010. The broker fee claims could stretch back as far as 2000 when Ofcom deregulated the brokerage market. Oh God, we're talking that far back. Last June, the Eye revealed the practice of hidden broker fees in energy business deals and reports that the fallout for energy firms would make the PPI scandal look like peanuts. Oh, God. Andrew Smith, the owner of Quincy Casino Slots, welcomed the ruling. We are pleased to have won damages against the supplier. It may not seem like a huge amount, but for a small business like ours, it makes a huge difference. He told the Eye, like many others, we are trying to operate in a challenging environment circumstances. Energy bills are big enough and it is without having to fork out more. Many other businesses are falling foul to this type of practice, costing them thousands of pounds in the process. Money they can't afford. There's no business wants to be ripped off. Check your energy bills or get support. It's important to make sure you are not overpaying through hidden fees. Victoria Myers, a lawyer for energy solicitors, said the court ruling against Iggy could spark hundreds of thousands of claims from businesses against their energy providers. This has the potential to be the next PPI scandal, with thousands of innocent business owners being misled or missold contracts, said Ms. Myers. A major energy supplier deliberately conceals costs from a small business, and that is huge. This is a multi-billion-pound issue at a time when businesses struggle at growing costs across the board. It's important for them to look at their contracts and ensure they aren't missing out on what's rightfully theirs. The issue centres on high deal costs. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. The issue centres on high deal costs. Agree with brokers that receive a commission from the energy companies without the knowledge of the clients involved. This commission is added to the business energy bills, often hidden within the customer tariff, and can account for up to 50% of the total loss. 50%. 50%. According to the research from the industry regulator Ofcom. My God. 50%. It was not until October 2022 that Ofgem started to close this loophole, making it a requirement for brokers to declare their commissions into clients for micro business. If it wasn't until October 2022, why? Why did it take so long to close this loophole? Business Energy Claims, BCE, the firm that brought the case on behalf of Mr. Smith, said any subsequent claims from businesses could stretch back to 2000. Callum Thompson, the managing director of BEC, said, this case has a real potential to open the floodgates to other businesses and organisations, large and small, which may have been misled as a result of missold energy contracts. What we are looking at is a multi-billion-pound issue on a similar scale to PPI scandal, which could affect hundreds of thousands of businesses and other organisations who may or may not have realised they could have a claim. Ofgem have found that between 2 and 3 million businesses, 67%, use a broker to help choose their tariff, which with fixed rates up to 5 years and no calling off period, meaning companies are legally locked in. Last December, Ofgem set out its proposal to expand business protections for businesses, which will bring in a new set of rules for suppliers to make sure they improve customer service and clearly set out the cost for customers, including the amount paid for third-party services like energy brokers. BEC said it's also settled dozens of claims relating to broker fees as energy suppliers seek to avoid the courts, but it's had a number of forthcoming court cases that, if successful, will result in millions being paid back to their clients by a range of energy providers. As long as it's the energy providers and not taxpayer money. As long as it's the energy providers. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm thinking this is a massive scandal. As long as we taxpayers are not going anywhere near paying back for any of this. As long as that's the case. Mr. Thompson claimed that missold energy contracts entered into non-domestic energy users totaled around 2.25 billion each year since 2000. If every company hit by hidden broker fees made a successful claim, BEC believes the total payout could dwarf the £38.4 billion paid to PPI claimants since 2011. What are we talking, 50 billion? More than 50 billion? 70 billion? Spokeswoman for Energy UK, the industry's trade body, said as a majority of non-domestic contracts are secured through brokers, the industry has long called for them to be regulated in the same way as the rest of the market. Energy UK and other supply members have supported proposals resulting from Ofgem's review of non-domestic marketing, particularly around increasing the information, clarity and transparency of commissioners. Ofgem have the legal powers to set out and enforce rules that would increase regulatory oversight and establish higher standards for brokers so that business customers are properly protected. Ofgem declined to comment. Eagle did not respond to multiple requests for comment. So what did the judge actually say? In the Queen's Casinos court ruling, it emerged that Eagle had not been transparent during the process. As the judge highlighted deliberate concealment on its part, relevant information was kept secret, and that concealment was, in my judgment, deliberate on Eagle's part, Recorder Geoffrey Petron had ruled. What is known as a half-secret case, the client knew the broker would be paid in some form, but did not know what the extent, the amount, or that they themselves would foot the bill. The court found a conflict of interest between the broker and the client, and that the broker had determined the size of the commission was ultimately went against the client's best interest, while also determining the length of the contract. Pointing out that the client could not have discovered the commission amount, the judge said the brokerage agreement meant both Eagle and the broker would deliberately conceal commission. The ruling highlighted that it was Eagle's interest to keep brokers happy and to attract them to do business with Eagles as opposed to another electricity supplier. If the customer did not enter electricity supplier contract with Eagle, then the brokers would obtain a payment by way of commission paid of a fixed figure per kWh from EG. It was EG's policy not to reveal the size or nature of this commission. How many businesses could potentially have been saved if this scandal had not happened? There's a high chance there's probably a lot of businesses could still be here if it was not for all this. There's a real possibility, guys. There's a real possibility that some businesses, while yes, of course, cost of living right now is high, but some businesses may actually not, may still have been here if it wasn't for these hidden fees, perhaps, potentially. That's what we're talking about here, and I think that's a very, very cause for concern. So many businesses. Max dropped a video at 8 o'clock. Okay, that's good. Thanks for letting me know, Alistair. I'll watch that later tonight. Thank you. Good. That's good. That's good to. As long as he's all right, that's all. As long as he's okay and whatever's going on, as long as he's all right, that's all that matters. Also, remember there are a lot of links in the video description for some other YouTube channels and more goodies. Yes, there's lots of other YouTubers in the description, guys. If you want to check out some other YouTubers as well in the description, if you ever wanted to blast in your range, guys, that'd be greatly appreciated. Energy, whatever, electricity, gas, or whatever is the basic necessities of life. It should not be controlled privately, made a commodity, and sold for profit, says Steve. Absolutely, it should be in the hands of the state. These private companies should not be. There shouldn't be any private companies anywhere near our energy supplies, just like water, just like rail, just like many other things. Only decent Scottish news broadcaster are broadcast in Scotland at 7 o'clock on YouTube. Thanks for that. There you go. Steve Baker is telling you where you get your Scottish news on YouTube. Do not go near the broadcasters for your own well-being. Yeah, I was wondering, Northern Ireland doesn't have one, but there's a Galood section on the iPlayer for all Galood's programme on the BBC Two. Thanks for that, Casper. Appreciate it. If they can afford to go after someone who had extra benefits due to 1 day's overtime at PT jobs, while those who steal millions left free to join private men's clubs, says Jeannie Bottle. Matt's remind you all to hit the like button. Thank you very much. Yep, do hit the like button if you can do that, guys. Be appreciated. Broadcasting is reserved power. Casper North West Scotland has no control. Seize back what was stolen in profits and profiteers, the first and CEOs and those with massive payouts. Yeah. I do not want to sound permissive, but if companies take the heat, they will remove the carpet from beneath the UK government and sell out their operations and send the energy markets into chaos. That's a very good point, Joe. That is a very good point. But I'm sure it won't be as simple as that, but it's a possibility. No, the government will make us pay it back into tax line next time. It was the windfall tax, says Davey Keane. Guys asking about energy there. I'm just going to scroll down just to see if I missed. St Patrick's Day yesterday may be the reason, Ben Shaw. Talking about something else there. Where were Ofcom during the post office debacle, as Stephen Banker says? There's a lot. Problem is, there's not too many questions, not enough answers is one of the things. Oh, guys, after the live stream, I'll be on the Discord after chat if you guys want to join me. Jao has provided a link to the Discord in the description. If you guys want to come and hang out with me, talk about anything, you're more than welcome to join me after the show, just as a reminder as well. I'll be ending the poll soon on will Rishi Sunak be forced out before the general election. 70% of you have said yes, 30% of you have said no. Thank you for all those who have voted so far. Greatly appreciate it. Right, got two more left for you guys, and this next one is from Open Democracy. It's almost like a Regan's news round with all these different places we're going to. But this one is just the headline itself, so it's pretty depressing to say the least. So a heavily pregnant refugee is to be evicted and sent 250 miles away from the family. Anita is booked to have a baby in London in 2 weeks. Tower Hamlets Council is sending her to live in Middlesbrough. Why? And now, obviously, before we even read into this, let's just jump off the back here. Like, why are you sending this person 250 miles away? Do they not have any, like, and here's the thing, do they have any friends, relatives, or whatever around where they are now? I think that's a thing that should be asked. Why is she on her own? Like, I'm a bit, I don't like this idea of somebody who is heavily pregnant and shipping them 250 miles away from their family, all the way to Middlesbrough. Why? Away from the family. Away from the family, guys. Away from her family. Let's just read a bit into it. So a heavily pregnant refugee is set to be evicted and moved to the other side of the country just 2 weeks before her due date. Anita is due to give birth in early April. All her parental appointments have been in Tower Hamlet in East London, and her birth is also booked at a nearby Royal London Hospital. But next week she will be uprooted by the council and sent 250 miles away to Middlesbrough, where she has no friends or family or medical records. Hello? Hello? Am I not the only one seeing a problem here? The Housing Action, Southwark and Lampeter, the HALS, the housing right group supporting Elliot, believes she could successfully appeal the decision, has at the last minute found a lawyer willing to take her on the case. Hello? How can a lawyer not take on this case? This is a winning case here. Come on. She's heavily pregnant, for crying out loud. And you're taking her away from her family in such a short space of time. This is an easy win for a lawyer. I mean, come on, this is outrageous. I want to know what the council's reason behind this is. What is legit the council's reason behind this? I'm scared, said the 30-year-old, who asked us not to use her real name for fear of abuse. Oh, understandably, of course. My situation is not good, but I'm trying to be relaxed as much as I can so that it doesn't affect my baby. I can't even be as emotional as I want. I can't imagine, like, she's probably bottling up all her emotions and her feelings because she's trying not to disturb the baby as well. But my God, I don't know how can someone never just. Anita moved from the UK to Etruria in 2020 with a now ex-husband. Although she spent 2 years working at factories at a care home in Middlesbrough, she no longer has any connections there and moved back to Shadwell almost a year ago. Right, so, okay, so she used to live in Middlesbrough, and they want to push her back there, but, like, she's pregnant right now. Like, come on, am I the only one see something wrong here? She became homeless at the start of the year and was housed at B&B. She was homeless at the start of the year. And we're you telling me she was homeless while pregnant? And the council didn't have a home for her? And was housed in a B&B as a form of emergency accommodation. But earlier this month, Tower Hamlet Council rejected her application for housing, saying she had more of a local connection to Middlesbrough and should be housed there instead. She disputed this and said her relatives live in East London and that's all her maternity care is here. After she's having her first baby, she said, I don't feel excited because even if I give birth, I'm still thinking about where I'm going to be after the baby. The hotel room is very small. It's difficult for me and I will be difficult for my baby. I feel hopeless. I feel like no one is beside me. In an eviction email seen by Open Democracy, Tower Hamlet Council told Anna that her comfort and well-being are of utmost importance and offered assistance with travel to Middlesbrough, but did not acknowledge her pregnancy or concerns about continuing her care in a new city. So they've basically turned a blind eye to this. And he says also currently waiting for confirmation on whether she has gestational diabetes or even a midwife told her the council's decision is nonsense and that she can't go because all her medical history is here. Elizabeth's wife from HSSL has called the moves inexcusable and horrifying. Contact your local MP. Contact your local MP. Send a letter, an email, or, you know, if you like shout about this. If you shout about this, like, literally, do you know what they should do? In all seriousness, if someone can get a hold of her, right, literally put this story all over Twitter and social media saying Tower Hamlets, like, put this on social media, like, blast this all over Twitter, for example. Tag the MP for this and saying, hey, to the MP in the area, how does it feel to know that your council is shifting a heavily pregnant woman away from relatives? Like, really put the guilt trip on the council here. Like, really expose this. Like, I'm sure somebody could do this for her. Like, really blast this out there and force the hands of them. Because if you make enough publicity and shout about this, they will U-turn out of embarrassment. They really will. Like, not even the lawyer here. You won't even need the lawyer because they will do a U-turn because of how humiliating this is for them. Our group has been running for almost 11 years now, and often we have low expectations of local authorities, but we have been extremely shocked by this, she said. We're deeply concerned for their health and her baby's health, and we can't understand why Tower Hamlet Council do not seem to have any concern for them at all. Spokesperson for Focus E15, a group led by mothers who campaign against rising rents, eviction and displacement, said it is essential for women who are pregnant to be near their medical service and support networks. They must have secure in housing for their overall mental health and well-being. Too many children are born living in precarious housing, which disrupts their education and is linked to poor mental health outcomes in young people. Council practices of moving pregnant women away from their vital networks must be challenged. There are currently 175,000 people in so-called temporary accommodation in London, including 85,000 children. In reality, despite accommodations, they can be used for maximum weeks at a time, mainly languish in these cramped, unusable rooms for years. On its website, Tower Hamlet Councils tell those that apply to join its 23,000 strong housing waiting list that most people who join will never be offered a social housing tenancy. As of the 31st of March 2023, it has had just 9 properties that were vacant available for letting. Nationally, 1.2 million people were waiting or are on the waiting list for social housing. People can wait decades before being offered a home, and Open Democracy revealed that in 2022, 2,300 people had died in a single year while waiting on the list. 2,300 people died while waiting. Cash-strapped local authorities spent $1.74 billion between April 2022 and March 2023 to house people in private sector temporary accommodation, which includes hotels, B&Bs, shelters and hostels. Because they have nowhere else to place people, the figure is set to rise to $2.1 billion in 2023-2024. As of November, 104,000 households, including 139,000 children, were in temporary accommodation across the country, up from 50,400 in 2010. A Tower Hamlet Council spokesperson said, "Okay, let's see what they have to say. Anita has previously lived in Middlesbrough for 2 years before coming to London. Following her homelessness application, we've made inquiries into her circumstances and then made a referral to Middlesbrough Council for housing, which they have accepted. Anita's hotel accommodation will be ending. We have informed her of this and that the date of that will end. We have offered her support with the cost towards her relocation. Middlesbrough Council expected her to approach them and will offer support. The council did not respond to criticism of evicting Anita while heavily pregnant." Yeah, because they don't want it being a story. Sorry guys, I got to refrain my language. As you guys know, I got to refrain my language now. I know I want to scream and swear, so you guys can do it in the chat for me. I just despair for this person. I really do. It's like, and the thing is that I can already see, not here guys, but I know some, like if I did this as a video, in all seriousness guys, if I did this as a video, I will get people in my chat saying, well, they shouldn't have come to the UK, or they shouldn't have stayed in their country, the first country point of origin, and all that nonsense. But I know you guys have common sense. I've got common sense, unlike some of those people who comment in my videos. But just putting aside the fact that this is a refugee or asylum seeker or whatever, I'm talking about a human being who's heavily pregnant and has everything that's been done in London, and now they're telling them to shift all this up to Middlesbrough. All this up to Middlesbrough. At a time when she's heavily pregnant as well. It's just despicable. It's absolutely despicable. Let me just scroll up to see what you guys are saying in the chat. If she was in Scotland, the police would stop the move as it's endangering both the mum and the baby. Yeah, of course it is. I don't know. I mean, calling the police in England won't do anything. At least I don't think so. Don't know if calling them would help. Not the first time you've done this to people, and they threaten you if you don't go, you will be homeless. Yeah, it's pretty despicable. This is what they've been doing to the homeless too, says one angry pagan. Yeah. I won't comment on this because this is even a crime punished by law around the UK. Is becoming more and more of a third world country, and this just happens in Europe. Animals, says Jal. It is. How can anyone act like this? Any human would want to see that woman that had housing and family support. Yes. Send her to Scotland. We'll take care of her. I'm sure she would be very well looked after in Scotland, Ruth. But the thing is that she's got there are people around her in London, with relatives and friends and whatnot, And there's also obviously all her records and everything she's been done in London right now. That's the only thing. I might be struggling, but I'm blessed to have a roof over my head, Steve, as Stephen Banker. Yeah, look after. In all seriousness, always take care of yourself before you take care of others, Stephen Banker. 100%. That's the most important thing. Most important thing is always look after yourself before you think about others. Sorry to all Brits, but Scotland needed independence. You need that move. It'll be a ride for Westminster. Don't worry about the UK. Scotland just needs to keep their eye on the prize. They'll make it there. It happened a couple of times. Davey was bloody brilliant. So proud of these communities. David Keane, South Sea in Glasgow. Proud to say I was one of those protesting at the Saints that day. The police were actually on the side of people. Glasgow have good people, says Asdakir. I've been using it. Scales be a good need for other resources. Families like mine would rather not half a separation. We see better cooperation in the future, says one angry pagan. Kevin Grant says, I was listening to a right-wing news channel. An elderly woman phoned in and said we should stop saving drowning asylum seekers because it would send a message and they would keep coming, says Kevin Grant. Good to see you, Kevin Grant. Yeah, that's you know, they don't see the full picture because they don't see the full picture. That elderly woman doesn't see the full picture. It's like that elderly couple that Max covered from GB News talking to Jacob Rees-Mogg. Like, they don't see the full picture of what's going on about that driveway he was covering. The presenter agreed with her. Yeah, they would do, GB News. Sending asylum seekers to Middlesbrough, have they not suffered enough? Well, the argument they make is that because she used to be there. That's the argument that they're making. We would crowdfund to sort that out, Reganelite says Ruth. The link is for the article is in the description. I don't know if let me just have a quick nose, guys. If there's, I don't think there's. Do you know what would probably be a good idea? Is if you, the link for the article is in the description, but I don't know how you can get in touch with the woman. If I'm honest, I think the. Okay. If anyone has Twitter, this is the person on Twitter. Oh, hold on. Oh, I screwed that up. 1 second, guys. Let me redo that again. So, this is the person who wrote the article. Anita Moriti. If anyone wants to try and reach out to her on Twitter, because that's the only thing I've got. Maybe she might be able to do something there. Sorry, that's the best I could do. But I'll put it in the comment after the show as well for the normal normal chat if anyone wants to try and reach out there as well. But that's her on Twitter. But the article is in the description as well if you want to try through there as well, guys. If you really want to, if you want to try and help. But that's all they've got. They don't have like a link to if you want to support or something like that on the article, guys. I would not survive long for homelessness without hope. Now is hopeless affair, says Jeannie Bottle. It's legal to live roaming. We find half viable areas to camp. There's also the stigma. Yeah. Not. I know it's a horrible story. But I'll put the link for her Twitter in the bio if anyone wants to try and reach out. Yeah, it's a devastating story to say the least, guys. So we got one more story for you guys. This one from Barline Times here. If you haven't already, please hit the like button. It'd be greatly appreciated and share it across social media. This one is a headline: If extraordinary claims of evidence spoliation in the NHS whistleblower case. NHS Doctor Chris Day is set to challenge the tribunal's decision in a case where 90,000 emails were destroyed in the middle of the night while hearing was underway. Why were 90,000 emails destroyed? What were possibly said in those emails that the public weren't told about, that we don't know about? What do you guys think it was? Something to do with more privatisation of our national healthcare service? Let's read what this is about, guys. So questions have been raised about a court claims of evidence spoliation and recoverable in a high-profile NHS whistleblowing case during which tens of thousands of emails were deleted. NHS Dr. Chris Day has won the right to challenge a tribunal's decision about information governance in NHS hospital trusts and the scrutiny applied to attempted evidence destruction and employment tribunals. Day exposed acute understaffing at a South London intensive care unit linked of 2 patients' deaths in 2013. His decade-long legal campaign has since revealed a lack of statutory whistleblowing protections for nearly 50,000 doctors below consultant level in England. An appeal tribunal in February refused the Day the right to challenge key aspects of an earlier ruling that cleared Lewisham and Greenwich NHS Trust of concealing evidence and perversing the Court of Justice when one of its trust directors deleted up to 90,000 emails during a tribunal hearing in July 2022. What? Why were they? They were challenged for some. Ruth, what you could do, I don't know if it's possible through Open Democracy there from the link in the article. I don't know if you're able to chase through there as well. That might be able to. Or if you Google the name, you might find other links as well, potentially as well. That could be. You could give that a try as well. I hope that helps in all seriousness. If anybody else wants to try and help in any way, shape or form, what you could do, if not here on the live chat, if you find more additional information, what you could do is put it in the comments section, not the live chat, but in the comments section after the live stream, so the information is there for others to track down as well, or post it on Discord as well, guys. I'm sure Jal will just put another link for the Discord if you don't mind. If you want to post it on the Discord as well, guys, that would help. The hearing heard that LGT Communications Director David Cook had attempted to destroy tens of thousands of emails and other electronic archives that were potentially critical to the case. An unsigned witness statement submitted to the tribunal on behalf of Cook claimed that the information had been permanently deleted. LGT has since claimed that the cache was recovered and submitted to the tribunal, something Day disputes. Appeal Tribunal and Judge Andrew Burns described Cook's conduct during the 2022 hearing as extraordinary. Cook's actions follows LGT's late disclosure of more than 200 pages of documents, and the tribunal heard suggests that the Trust CEO Ben Travis had given inaccurate and potentially misleading evidence to the tribunal days earlier. So they've deleted the emails. They've claimed they submitted evidence, and Chris Day is obviously challenging that. Something tells me is that they probably provided evidence, but not the evidence of the deleted emails. To say no, we didn't delete the emails. Here's the information. It's what I think has happened here. What I think has happened here. Day's barrister Andrew Allen told an employment appeal tribunal in February that Cook went in the middle of the night and destroyed them because he was in a panic. According to Allen, Cook had been observing the case and realised that key evidence had not been disclosed. That Cook destroyed documentation potentially relevant to the litigation, Allen argued, is intimately tied up with Day's concealment and detriment claims. He added that there was a failure to make findings at the 2022 tribunal on the attempted destruction of electronic evidence. Burns noted in his judgment that although the employment tribunal has mentioned that it can draw adverse interference from the respondent's deletion of documents, it doesn't seem to have turned its mind in doing so. He described Day's patient safety disclosure as being of utmost importance. Allen also raised questions about LGT's destruction of electronic records prior to the 2022 hearing. Documents have not been sought from key personnel, he said, including from Janet Lynch, an ex-workforce and education director at the Trust, who is in its instructing client, had been responsible for advising the Trust solicitors up until late 2018, and key documents including Lynch's email were destroyed after she left the Trust. 5 Trust director emails, Travis Cook, Lynch, and 2 doctors involved with Day's whistleblowing case, were either said to have been deleted or unavailable during the key dates being examined by the 2022 tribunal. The hearing considered whether the Trust had caused Day's detriment linked to this whistleblowing. His appeal will examine whether public statements about the Trust issued about the settlement in the previous hearing did so. The directors whose emails were unavailable at the 2022 tribunal are understood to have been involved in preceding the statements, which drew criticism from the Care Quality Commissioner regulator. The appeal hearing will not consider Day's allegations of concealment. He has asked the tribunal to review its decision and appeal for further grounds to be added. Martin Nicol, an expert in e-discovery who heads Thomas Burry's cyber risk advisory e-discovered and litigation supporting practice, told Byline Times that a number of key questions regarding the email status has not been answered by the tribunal or by LGD. It definitely stinks of a cover-up of some sorts here, guys. It's very irregular for a director of communications to have the ability to permanently delete emails without administrative privileges, he said. When it is said that he deleted 90,000 emails, that's potentially a big task to undertake. In these scenarios, an end user without significant knowledge and access rights would leave 3 potential sources of email, which could be explored to see if these emails can be recovered. The NHS mail system, which LGB has confirmed was in use in 2022, usually retains emails for a minimum of 30 days and up to 2 years. Nicol said a forensic discovery request of search of the Microsoft 365 environment could also establish the presence of these emails. Nicol added that the way LGT board members were asked to provide evidence for the 2022 hearing was unreliable, and explained that it appeared that board members were instructed to simply search their own emails. This is an obvious unreliable way to perform any collection of evidence in a neutral way, he said. The NHS has processes in place for such situations, and organisations like the Counter Fraud Authority, I'm sure they could provide better evidence handling and processes for such high-profile matters. Legal advisors could report external forensic experts, which, if nothing else, would help with perception of the future situations such as these. Robert Maddox, an employment lawyer with Doyle Clanton, told Byline Times that employment tribunal apply the same evidence to disclose the prevention rules as the civil courts, but don't have the same level of rigorous procedure that goes with the high court matter. For example, in the civil courts, a party can be obliged to complete a disclosed certificate of compliance confirming where they searched, what they searched for, confirming what they've disclosed, all relevant documents, he said. That's not necessarily done in the tribunal. There's an obligation on parties to perform a reasonable search and to disclose any documents that are relevant, irrespective of whether they are in favour or adverse for a party's case. But there's certainly an obligation to preserve documents, and tribunals will look unfavourably on documents that have been lost or destroyed. Mannix added that although it is possible to enlist an IT expert to assess lost or deleted evidence, tribunals can take a party statement at face value. It is more common for a party to make submissions on adverse interference that can be drawn from missing, lost or deleted evidence, he said, rather than incur costs or risks further delays. An LGT spokesperson acknowledged the outcome of the appeals hearing but declined to comment further as legal proceedings are ongoing. LGT declined to say if Cook still works at the Trust and whether it pays its legal costs after it enlists the service of a separate firm during the 2022 hearings. Travis remains the Trust's CEO. Something is definitely amiss here. While I don't know fully too much about this case, guys, there's definitely something feeling very, very dodgy about this. How long ago was this? This was August. So this was back in August 2010. NHS campaign donors win second appeal. So he's been on this this has been going on for quite a while here. This was deprived 54,000 junior doctors of statutory whistleblowing protection here. Interesting. I'll put a link for the original. Well, I'll put the original link in the description when I get a chance as well. But the fact that potentially, guys, we could be looking at evidence being sabotaged here. It's not very good at all, if I'm honest. It's not very good at all. It's bad enough when things have been covered up, but when also there's evidence as well being destroyed, yeah, that's not good. I just want to thank everyone for casting their vote in the live poll, asking will Rishi Sunak be forced out before the general election. 69% of you said no, said yes. 30% of you say no out of 23 people. Thank you all for casting your vote. For those who have, just so you guys know, there will be another community tab post tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. So if you happen to be on YouTube in the morning, be sure to cast your vote in that community post too. I'm just going to see what you guys are saying in the chat. Dave McGinn, good to see you. Hope you had a good day at work, buddy. I was there in your show earlier. Just wasn't talking too much, to be fair. Oh, I'm subscribed to Open Democracy, said Ruth. Oh, good. Yeah, they have a YouTube channel as well. YouTube.com/Open Democracy as well. If you haven't, you can always subscribe to them as well, guys. Ruth, I can put it on my Facebook feed if it helps you out. What you could do, Alistair Keir, is put the link to the article in the Facebook feed. That could help as well. So you see, and you can explain the story there. That might someone might be able to then be able to get in touch with the journalist that may be able to do something from there, guys. Just gonna scroll down, see what you guys are saying. Banter is allowed and supported, of course it is. Bumming up means bigging people. I agree with him. There's a graduate translated in the entire Australian media system. I've got a hint about you guys are bantering about something. I'm not gonna talk about it. I am problems keeping up with German and Portuguese. I'm confusing both in my head. Both your youngest nephew is with his German, says Joe. Cat's mobile hot water bottle, says Alistair Keir. Are you giving your hot water bottles to cats? You shouldn't be doing that. Yeah. Guys, we've got one more funny video before I see things out, but just to kind of give you guys what's happening with things. So I will be doing covering Prime Minister's questions this Wednesday at 12 o'clock. So if you guys want to join me there 12 o'clock for that, you can do. But before then, obviously tomorrow evening, 7 p.m, I'll be premiering the World's News Round. So you can watch along with me and that in the premiere chat. So you guys are more than welcome to join me before Max goes live, so you guys can come and hang out with me. And then once that show's ended, we can go straight into Max's live stream. I've got quite a lot to cover, including the Russian election, which I know you guys are eager to hear about the outcome of that and how the runners and riders fared in it. I know you guys are excited about the Russian election and my thoughts on it. So we've got that, plus many other stories to talk about on the World News Round. Of course, we have the Snowflake Watch on Wednesday evening as well, so be sure to come and hang out there. So 2 live streams on Wednesday, the PMQs and the Snowflake Watch. Thursday, back on the usual time with Regan's News Round at 8 p.m. That's premiering. And then on Friday, guys, we have the Snowflake Corner at 7 o'clock, the live stream there. So be sure to check out all those things. From next week, guys, as well, I don't know if you've seen it in the link in the description, but if you have Twitch, guys, I have set up the twitch.tv/Reganelite1. So if you guys, if you have Twitch, please follow me on there. I will be dual streaming from there from next week. From next week, guys, through Restream. I'll be dual streaming both on YouTube and on Twitch from next week, guys. I will be trying a test live stream at some point this week as well, because I need to see some things from Twitch's point of view. So I need to run a few tests, guys. So there's a chance that you may see a test live stream come up at some point as well. So just going to highlight that for you guys as well. But before you guys run away, we've got one more funny story for you guys. But some guy from Portsmouth wants to talk to you guys. What's his name? Ollie? Colin? Oh, okay. Well, some guy from Colin wants to phone into a radio show. Let's hear what he has to say.
Colin from Portsmouth is on the line. Hello, Colin.
That man says what a lot in this country are thinking. He's the voice of the people.
A lot, Colin. I'm just looking at the opinion polls there.
That man says what 12% of this country are thinking.
Yeah. What are 12% of this country thinking, Colin?
Well, it's hard to say, Anthony.
Yeah.
Many of that 12% aren't thinking out loud. But according to that man, we're all thinking, well, just over a tenth of us are all thinking that Sadiq Khan has given London to his Islamist mates.
Right. What, 12% of London are thinking that, are they, Colin?
No, this 12% don't tend to live in London, but they're all thinking it, and they're very concerned from afar. I feel sorry for the vast majority of Londoners blissfully unaware that Khan and his Islamist mates have made their lives a living hell.
So that man is a voice of the poorest in society, Colin.
Oh, God, no. I expect the poorest in society are too busy worrying about putting food on the table to be bothered by imaginary threats to their country, and it's not their country anyway.
No,
they
it's
need
not,
to be
no.
forced to pick vegetables in a field and taught how to cook them. No, that man represents the 12% who lived in a mythical time in the 70s when they didn't have to get up in the night to go to the toilet, and there weren't shadowy brown people running a city they didn't live in. Anyway, mate, thanks for having me on. Love to the family.
Love to the family, Colin. Love to the family.
Whenever that mythical time was, I want to live in it again.
Are you planning any trips to London soon?
No?
Exploding Heads, guys, on YouTube. Make sure you check out their YouTube. The link is in the description. Make sure you subscribe to their channel, guys. They got 22,000 subscribers. Definitely deserve a couple more. So, guys, if you guys want to come and hang out with me on the Discord after the show, you're more than welcome to do so. But if not, guys, thank you all so much for coming along, guys. But before you go, be sure to hit the like button before you do. Make sure you share this across social media. Hit that bell notification icon so you'll be notified of when I upload another video. And of course, guys, if you want to financially support me in the work I do here, you can do so by becoming a YouTube member for as little as 99p. And you can also check out exclusive content on Rumble and Patreon for free too. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope to catch you all very, very soon.